The first game for Oklahoma City's permanent NBA team will be played in Tulsa. I'm Mike Sherman, he's Darnell Mayberry, and we're talking NBA and OKC. Darnell, true or false, it's odd that the team's first game, an exhibition, will be played October 13th in Tulsa.
No, I don't think it's odd. Like you said, it's an exhibition game, and I think Oklahoma City has finally passed the point of worrying about exhibition games. I mean, it was all nice when the Lakers came here a couple years ago before we had a permanent team, and we got to see some NBA stars. But look, we have 41 regular season home games being played in Oklahoma City now. I don't think we're worried about exhibition games.
Okay, but remember that first exhibition game, the Denver Nuggets, Carmelo Anthony, all the NBA suits were there to make sure Oklahoma City could run it the right way. And Carmelo Anthony, early in the game, came out and said, what? Hey, guys, it's an exhibition.
Oh, yeah.
He was stunned by the electricity in the crowd. I'm saying people are going to be fired up for anything. I just think this means a bunch of people from Oklahoma City who can't wait to see this team are going to be making the trip to Tulsa.
I'll say kudos to the ownership group and the management they've been saying from day one that they want to incorporate Tulsa and make this Oklahoma's team. Good for them giving Tulsa an exhibition game.
You know what's interesting too? I say, okay, good for them. I'd still rather have it in Oklahoma City, but good for them. However, did you notice how many questions still are raining around at these press conferences in Tulsa? Can you play any regular season games there in Tulsa? I think the answer is no games in Tulsa for the regular season.
One last thing about it. Don't be surprised if Yao Ming doesn't play. He came off of that foot or leg injury last year. He's playing in Beijing this year in the Summer Olympics. And I think the Houston Rockets might want to hold him out of the exhibition season come this season.
One more reason why it should have been in Oklahoma City. Next question. True or false, Oklahoma City has found a diamond in the rough in Kyle Weaver?
To be determined. I don't think you can honestly say they found a diamond in the rough. This is a guy I think they were high on going into the draft. Some projected him as a first-round pick in the draft. He slipped to the 38th pick in the Bobcats. The guy is multidimensional. He can shoot. He can't really shoot just yet, but he can defend. He can play point guard and shooting guard, and he's versatile. He makes plays with the ball in his hands. So the fact that he's versatile, I think, potentially makes him a good fit for the Oklahoma City team.
Well, one thing is he averaged 12 points a game for a Washington State team that only scored like 50 points a game. I mean, they play a very deliberate style of basketball. That's where Dick Bennett used to coach. Tony Bennett and his sons, the coach, very defensive-minded. And from what I read from your story on News OK right now and in the Oklahoman, this is a defensive player.
He's a defensive player. I mean, he averaged 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and his junior year he averaged 2.2 steals. So that sort of goes to show you how defensive the guy is. He plays off the ball defense. He plays on the ball defense. I think he's got the potential to be a pretty good player for Oklahoma City someday. Not now, but someday.
And I'll ask you this again. Oklahoma City should be worried about the recent migration of NBA players to overseas.
I asked the general manager, Sam Presti, this over the weekend. I wrote about it in Monday's paper. And I'm with him. I think it's too early. The fact that most of these guys are foreign-born players anyway, with the exception of Josh Childress and with the exception of Earl Boykins. Most of Nenad Kristic, Juan Carlos Navarro, what's the guy's name? Primoz Brezic. I mean, these guys.
Good pronunciation.
Jorge Garbosa.
Another good one.
I mean, these guys are all foreign-born players. Until we see more American-born players going overseas and stars at that, then I don't think it's something that Oklahoma City or any other NBA team should be worried about.
Now, wait a minute. LeBron James says if they drop a cool 50 on me, $50 million for a season, I'll go. Kobe Bryant says, before I sign my next deal with the Lakers, I'm thinking about it. Of course, Kobe, like Nenad Kristic, is a foreign-born player. Born in Italy, I think, right? Or at least grew up over there.
It's been part of his childhood.
A lot of people think Kobe's more of an international guy than an American guy. Here's my theory. If one of the big Kobe, LeBron James, one of those big stars go, trouble for Oklahoma City, because the Lakers are going to have to replace the star caliber, and guess where they'll go looking? A guy named Kevin Durant.
My take on the stars coming out and saying this is that, what else are they going to say? $50 million for 1 year is a lot of money, but I mean, saying it and actually doing it are two different things. I don't think we're to the point where they're going to go overseas and play. I mean, maybe when they're past their prime, yeah, sure. But right now they have too much to prove over here, especially a guy like LeBron James. being swept out of the finals by the San Antonio Spurs. He's got more to prove here than he does over there. His legacy is going to be here no matter what happens over there. He can't establish a legacy for himself overseas.
They want to sell Nikes overseas too. Hey, next question. True or false, Oklahoma City is doing the right thing by creating more cheap seats and paying for it by raising the prices on the good seats?
You know, I think so. I think that's true. You know, the people who can afford the good seats are going to be able to afford them, whether they're 20% higher or 30% higher or whatever. The people in the cheap seats, you want to get those people in there because those are the kids those are the families that are going to bring their kids to the game. They're going to go shopping. They're going to go buy all kind of merchandise for their kids. They're going to buy concessions. You know, so I think you want to get those diehard fans, those rabid fans up in Loud City. You want to bring them in, have them come back, and build your fan base that way.
As two kids who grew up following the Washington and Baltimore franchises, the Bullets, that was us.
Yeah. We
became NBA enthusiasts because we were allowed, our families got in to watch those seats. I think it's a great move. Here's one question I have about it, though. And one thing from background from today's story in News OK and also in the Oklahoman, they're going to have more than the league limit. In other words, the league mandates you have a certain number of cheap seats. They're going to have more.
Yeah.
Does that also mean better cheap seats? Does it also mean closer down cheap seats?
Well, the league minimum is 500, and that 500 could be in the end zones of the upper deck. So the fact that they're going to have more, they haven't come out and said how much more yet. But I think you could see some, you know, closer into the insides of the bowl upper deck, so in the middle of the arena. So I think that's a good thing.
Loud City rides again. Last question. Bowl prediction for gold. Who wins the gold medal in the Olympic men's basketball competition?
It's not really much of a bold prediction. I'm going with the USA.
Ooh.
I'm going with the USA. You know, the teams that I think presents the biggest challenge to them, Spain, Argentina, Greece, those teams have struggled against other teams. Spain beat China this morning, I think, by 10 points. This is the team that the USA beat by 30. So, you know, the fact that these other teams are sort of struggling against each other, I think that bodes well for USA.
Congratulations, USA. You're 4-0 versus Angola after this morning. Big game, Greece on Thursday, and then Spain, the Spaniards on Friday, the revenge of Paul Gasol. Hey, that's all for the NBA in OKC. You can read more about this topic on News OK and in the Oklahoma.